I wanted to briefly talk about what I wish I knew in government contracting because I know that when I first started, it's like you guys are telling me that I can make all this money. You're telling me that all I have to do is make friends and then I'll be a gazillionaire, but that just didn't work for me. So I felt like it was really important for me to talk about what I wish I knew when I first started right after the intro. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Here on the Sheenapreneur channel, I share information about government contracting, veteran business content, and other business tips. One of the things I wish I knew when I first started was that you really don't need a lot of money. Sometimes you do, but it really depends on your industry. But I started off with $4,000 in my savings. I'm not even talking about checking, I'm talking about savings, like all to my name, and I was working full time. So that's all I had. And if I did not have the advance that I got with this first contract, which was a local contract, then this contract, it just wouldn't have worked. So, sometimes things are just gonna work out for you because they're for you. I wish I knew that I didn't need a lot of money because I was kind of hesitant with a lot of projects. And I have friends who were in the same boat where they, are too afraid to start because they're like, well, I don't really have any savings. I don't have this and this. But if you don't get out there and try, you never really know. When you're looking at a contract, like this isn't gonna work. I don't even have a relationship with the people who are going to be doing the work, so they're not going to wait for me to pay them. So it's one of those things where you just gotta build the plane on the way down, yo. Like, what are we doing? And forget the background because I'm at my daughter's volleyball game and a volleyball tournament. So we are in a hotel. So this is a different scenery than most of the time that I do my videos. But anyway, so you don't need a lot of money. So I wish I probably would have started a little earlier instead of being hesitant. So another thing that I wish I had have known was that you really need to build your business. I built my business based on government contracting, which you can do. Obviously, I did it, and I know other people that have done it, but it's really challenging to build your business as you're getting hundreds of thousands of dollars. I know that sounds crazy because everyone feels like they want all this money, but they're not really ready. Like they don't even have an accounting system. They don't even know how to, organize their taxes. So, that's a topic for another day, but it's still a part of it where if you're just starting your business for the first time and you don't even know how to run payroll, or you never even knew payroll existed, you got a serious problem when you're a staffing company and you have, you're hiring 40 people out the rip. So my friend Stephanie, that's near and dear to my heart. That is my boo. That is my sister from another mister. And she was able to hire 40 something employees in 2 days really. And so it was a lot of OJT. It was, oh, we got to get this accounting system going. She's a beast. She made it work. It worked out, but it makes it a lot easier for you and your sanity if you have these things in place when you first start, doing government contracting. I wish I had some things already set up and organized, so I wasn't trying to just, throw something on the wall and hoping that it sticks. So, wishing that I was already really established. I had other businesses in the past, and I was doing real estate. So I kind of knew, but we were anybody that was in real estate, especially in the mid 2000s, we was just out here rogue. If you were a wholesaler or you were a flipper, you were just out here. If you were not a serious investor, real estate investor who had been doing it for a while, but you just kind of jumped in when everybody else was doing it, we was out here in these streets rogue. So I wasn't really set up properly, and I definitely wasn't set up for a government contracting type business. So one of the things that I wish I had of really knew before I got into government contracting or before I started my business. With my company being now 6 years, we had our 6-year birthday here, April 2023. I really didn't capitalize on relationships when I first started. That was one of the main things that when I were asking people, what can you give me? What's a tip you can give me about government contracting? They said building relationships. And I'm like, well, I'm an introvert, so that ain't gonna work for me. I don't like people. No, I do love people, but I'm just not really good at networking. I'm not really good at, essentially, sometimes it feels like begging people to do business with me. So it was hard for me to reach out and constantly ask hey, just checking in. We're doing this, we're doing that. Do business with us. Even if it was an agency, if it was a person, if it was someone I was going to sub with or prime with, it was really hard for me to do that. But I probably should have capitalized on a lot of my early relationships. Some of them came back full circle, end up doing business much later, or, they fell through the cracks. I fell through the cracks and it's no big deal, but I probably should have capitalized on a lot of my relationships at the beginning when I was going to networking events, when I was being introduced to people. All of these things, they make a huge difference. Sometimes that one connection can get you to $1 million. So I probably should have done a better job of utilizing my network and building a little bit better. And this became very evident since we started our business in 2017. I was really not doing any contracting until late 2018. So 2019, we were full throttle. We were like six figures. And then 2020 happened, which for janitorial, it went up, but still, you couldn't even make the same type of connections that you really, could have prior to. So there was about a good 2 years where we were just like, everything was via email, everything was online. So it really wasn't, you didn't have the ability to go to events. And, we all kind of like, whatever, even if you weren't doing business back then in 2020, we all were kind of like yearning for some sort of in-person something. So I liked to go to events, even though I was like super antisocial. I wasn't antisocial, let me not say that. I wasn't antisocial. I just had a hard time starting the conversation. Like if you come and talk to me, I'll be like, all day. But me going up to you like, hi, my name is Sheena, like that your girl, that ain't me. So so in 2020 and 2021, when we were kind of like still in the house, it was, for me, I liked it, but you just cannot make the same type of relationships that you can make when you are in person. That's just a fact. A key thing that I wish I had of just super focused. Like if y'all don't hear nothing else I say, if you are serious about this government contracting thing, like hear me loud and clear. You need an accountant. Lord have mercy. Like you don't even know how bad you need an accountant. Like a real accountant. Not your sister-in-law, baby cousin Tracy, like no disrespect, but someone who is experienced in government contracting. Like, I'm sorry, there might be some phenomenal accountants out here that don't do government contracting. Skip over them. Whatever you got to do to get the money to pay for a good accountant, pay for a good accountant. And personally, my accountant, she is like from the heavens because she has incorporated a lot of business development into my company. Stuff that it's like I kind of knew, but I couldn't really implement it because I didn't really know how to implement it. And her team have implemented so many things in my company that I didn't even know I needed, didn't even know was important, didn't even know I wanted. And she understands government contracting. All she wants to do is see us grow. And it's going to be pricey. I mean, period. Some things in life are not worth paying more for. Paying more for an accountant is extremely important. And interviewing them, not just like, oh, I'm an accountant. Make sure that the accountant works for you. Like for me, response time is incredibly important to me. I'm not saying you need to be waiting by your phone, like whatever that lawyer's name is that says that he answers the call every time. I don't need that, but I need a good response time. I have fired, I think it was 2021. I had fired like 4 accountants. There was one accountant that didn't even know he was fired because he was so delayed in his response. He didn't even know that we weren't working together anymore. I'm like, how do we not have regular communication? Like, I may not be one of your, at that time, I may not be one of your $10 million clients, but I'm paying you thousands of dollars a year to try to, handle my stuff. And it just wasn't a good match. So, and he didn't understand government contracting. He was asking me about government contracting. I'm like, this is not going to work. So it's important to have somebody who really understands what your business does and government contracting, like, period. And this one is kind of like a given, but it may not be a given because I still work with people every day who like do this same practice. And for me, I kind of wish I knew that a lot of people didn't want to work. Like, oh my God. It's not like one of those things where you can just say, boom, it's this thing. Because you don't really know how someone is until you work with them. It's just like you don't know how someone is until you live with them. Same thing. So what I realized in this, so it's 2 things. It's people that don't want to work, and then like also working with your family. So you just assume because you know them and they know you that they're going to do what you want them to do, and that's not the case. And maybe maybe I'm the problem, like personally, or just, if you're doing self-reflection, you're like, well, I'm the problem. That's why people don't want to work with me, or why they don't perform their best. But really, it is all about like a marriage. It's all about, does that person work for you? Do they want to, like, maybe you need someone who's just going to be chill, and when they do work for you, they show out, and then they don't do anything else. Like, they don't do anything for 29 out of the 30 days of the month, but that's all you need from them. So I kind of wish I knew that there were people that didn't operate like me. And you just, it's so interesting because I've had businesses. I've been all around the world, retired Army. So I did 20 years in, so I didn't been around, like, I've been around a lot of people, but I was around the same type of people, really. So when you're out here in the business world, heavy, like full time, you realize there are a lot of people who are not willing to do what you do. And you're like, this is interesting. You want to partner with them, and then you go to partner with them, you're like, this was a mistake. This was a huge mistake. We're not vibrating on the same frequency. And chances are they're not vibrating on the right frequency. I'm just gonna say that. Sometimes I am the problem, though. I could be a little demanding, but it is what it is. This is what I am. What you see is what you get. So it's, you either fly or don't. You sink or swim. Like at Foresight Industries, at my company, we definitely have like a little running joke, sink or swim, because a lot of people couldn't hang. So, because it's not easy out here being a real business owner. And this is the last one. I think I said the last one was the last one, but this is the for real last one. I wish I knew that every business goes through absolute hell at some point. I hope nobody's new watching this channel, because you'll be like, oh, I don't want to deal with hell, but you can come out on the other end of it. That makes a huge difference. Some of my really good friends who've been in business for maybe the same amount of time as me, maybe 5 to 10 years, they don't really study business like the way I do. I watch documentaries, I watch YouTube University, I watch a lot of things that talk about business. And so I realized, like, all these major corporations that have been around forever, your Coca-Cola, your Krispy Kreme, your White Castle, your Dunkin' Donuts, your Hershey, your Reese's, like, and it's so crazy because their stories are so dynamic. And if you get a chance to check out The Food That Built America, like, amazing series on the History Channel. But it's not like History Channel stuff that we used to watch back in the day that was super boring. It's like super good. So the businesses that have been around for like decades and centuries, or like at least a century, they've been through absolute hell. Like, they went through a lot and they survived. They pivoted, and different CEOs, and the kids taking over the business, and strangers taking over the business. And you realize, like, okay, this stuff that I'm going through, it may be bad, but I can survive. It's literally one day at a time. And then, I wish I knew that at the beginning, because there was some times where I was like, oh, it's over with. Like, I cannot do this. This is really stressful. But you can do it. You can get to a point where everything is going to be just fine. You just have to figure out, what's my next best step? Tomorrow morning when I wake up, what is that going to look like? Next week, what is that going to look like? Later on today, what is that going to look like? So just really important to remember that you can get through this, and anyone can do government contracting as long as they take it seriously. And there are some things that I wish I knew. Maybe I'll do a part 2 of this. So until next time, again, I have a 3-tier course called GovCon Now, where I take you through federal contracting, local contracting, and corporate contracting. And I have something special for my veterans. Of course, I am a 20-year Army vet. I was a 255 Alpha, so I was a signal warrant officer, all in this IT space. So I teach you how to navigate the process. I have actual proposals in the course, and I teach you how to build your network and how to bid on contracts. So until next time, it's your favorite veteran.